Hi guys. Well, here we go, right? I hope that you guys are behaving at home and you're spending time as a family, maybe eating some good food, getting some rest. But now it's time for some math. So the first lesson is over the quadratic equation, the standard form. It's what we did on Friday. So it's actually a homework paper. It goes along with those notes. So I thought it would just be a way to review kind of what we did on Friday. So you'll want to find that. If you don't have those notes, just, I guess, follow along with what I have here, because the part of the paper that we're going to do is we'll go over some of the things that we did on those notes. Okay, so let's get going there. So what you're going to want to do is click on that first link's PDF file, and it should say Homework 1, Introduction to Quadratics. So that's what I'm going to go through on this YouTube video. Now, we talked about it in class. If you don't have a printer at home, no big deal, because I am not going to collect these. You can just write down along with your, like on a piece of paper, follow along. Just remember that the things that I teach in these videos will be in the assessment at the end of the week. So you want to know what you're doing for it. Now, if you have the notes with the assessment, that makes it a little bit easier for you, but you can just write your own notes on a piece of paper. You don't have to get copies. There are copies at school, so if you want to go, grab, I just put it together in a packet for the whole entire 3 weeks. So if you want to go and grab the notes, and you can get to the school when the office is open. It's open Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 8 to 2. I believe is what it is. So double check that on the website or call into school and make sure that I'm telling you the right thing. But if you do want to go grab a copy of those notes, they do it, but it's not required. This is just, it'll be on the PDF and you can just follow along on a piece of paper. That's totally fine. Okay, let's do it. All right, here we go. The standard form of a quadratic equation is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. The curve formed by a quadratic equation is called a parabola. Remember, it's not a parabola. Parabola. The formula for the axis of symmetry was x equals negative b over 2a. And if you remember, the a and the b come from the quadratic formula there. So it's the numbers that are in front of the variables there. If the vertex is the highest point of the graph, it is called a maximum. And when it's like that, your parabola is obviously going to open down. And we talked about negative a's give us a downward frown. If the vertex is the lowest point on the graph, it's called a minimum. And so that one is going to be a smile because it's positive, because the a is positive. So in this one, it's going to be like that, right? We already know looking at it that the a is a positive 1. You can put that in there. The a is a positive 1. You can put a little a down here, remind yourself that. The 6 is your b. But because the a is positive, we know it's going to open in a smile, and b, because it's positive, right? Positive people are smiling. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and find what our axis of symmetry is. If you remember, the axis of symmetry is like the invisible line that goes down the middle of the parabola. If you folded it, it would be the same on either side. So it kind of cuts it in half, you can think of. And your maximum or minimum, your vertex, is always going to fall on the axis of symmetry. So to find our axis of symmetry, we just use that formula, x equals negative b over 2a. And this first one, b is 6. So if I'm making it negative, it's going to be a negative 6 over 2 times 1. Negative 6 over 2 equals negative 3. So x is negative 3. Oh, it already wants me to sketch over here. I'm running out of room. To find the point, so the x equals negative 3 is my axis of symmetry. To find the point, the vertex, which in this case is going to be a minimum because we know that it's opening up because our a is positive. To find the vertex, we just need to take this point and plug it back into your quadratic formula. Because if you plug it back in for x, you'll be solving for y, and that's what we need, right? We need just x comma y. We need a point. So y equals negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3 plus 4. Running out of room here. Negative 3 squared, remember, is a positive 9. A negative times a negative is a positive. Be careful on your calculators with that. Then we have minus 18, and then plus 4. So that is -9 plus 4 is -5. So the vertex is going to be a -3, -5. Now when we sketched it, we just went really, really basic here. So we've got a minimum. Our point is -3, -5. And then we just drew our parabola like that. Another option is, I'm just going to write it right here so that as I'm talking about it, another option is to look on Desmos. You can type this entire quadratic function into Desmos and it will show you what it looks like. You can easily see the minimum, you can see the axis of symmetry. I do like you to know these formulas. I think that that's helpful. But when you are taking the assessment at the end of the week, if it's asking for, which it will ask for axis of symmetries and it'll ask for vertex. If you are using Desmos to do it, that is okay. That is what the air test will allow you to do because the air test does have a version of Desmos. It's a graphing calculator online. So you can just type in your equation and see it. Okay, I do not feel the need to go over every single one of these with you, but just a couple reminders. This one here, if our formula for our quadratic function is ax squared plus bx plus c. What's missing in this one is the b. You'll notice there is no b in the middle. It has a number with the x squared, it's 1. It has the -4, the number by itself, but it does not have that middle term. So your b is going to be 0. So actually finding your axis of symmetry is going to be easy because what's -0? It's just 0 divided by 2a, well 2 times 1, but 0 divided by anything is 0. So my axis of symmetry for this one is going to be 0. And then to plug it back in, 0 squared minus 4 will give me my y value. And so 0 squared is 0, minus 4 is -4, so my point is 0, -4. And then I have a positive 1 in front of my x squared, so that means my a is positive, so that means it's going to be a smile, it's positive. I have a minimum point of 0, -4. Okay, so this one too, it only has an a, it doesn't have a b or a c. So just remember that as you're working through this. All right,